Hello and welcome to today's class. Dear students, today I am going to teach you the third chapter of your NCERT textbook. In this particular chapter, we have two different stories, highly inspiring and motivating ones to discuss. In today's class, I am going to teach you the first story that is written by Liam O'Flaherty, and the title of the story is His First Flight. Dear students, if you go through the text, there you find that it's the story of a young seagull who didn't want to fly due to certain reasons. The more you go into the text and the more you analyze it, there you find that there were two negative factors that were working in his life. And what were those two negative factors? That is what I'm going to discuss with you. In today's class, I'm not going to discuss the entire chapter line by line. Rather, I would be trying to present a brief summary which is very much useful for you to attempt short questions as well as the long questions that are expected to come in the examinations. So, this particular video has been developed keeping your examinations in mind. So, I hope you all will enjoy today's video, and don't forget to share this video with as many students as you can. So, in this particular chapter, dear students, there you find a character, a young seagull. A seagull family lived. A seagull is a bird, okay, and they lived near a sea or ocean or water body, and there you find the character of this young seagull to be indifferent, to be completely different from his siblings. So, what's the meaning of siblings? I think you all know it. Siblings means his brothers and sisters. Although his brothers and sisters were younger to him, but they had all learned the skill, or they had all learned the art of flying in the sky. Dear students, it is very much essential, as you all know, that on the part of a bird, it is very essential for him to learn to fly. If it does not learn to fly, then it would put its life in difficulty. Since it is this particular skill only which would enable the bird to move or travel a long distance and collect his food. In times of difficulty, in times of adverse situations or circumstances also, the flying would help the bird to move away to a safer place. So, from various points of view, flying is an essential skill that is expected to be learned by every bird. But what's going on in this particular chapter with this particular young seagull that which has been mentioned by the writer here is that although he was grown up, he was having stronger wings compared to the wings of his siblings, but still he had developed a fearful mindset. The fear had completely engulfed him. What's the meaning of engulfed? Means it had completely surrounded him. Okay, and when you are engulfed means completely surrounded by the fear from all sides, you would not be able to see what is there beyond fear. You would not be able to imagine that there is success beyond fear. So, and the same thing happened with him. So, this particular factor was working and demotivating, demoralizing the potential and the power of the young seagull. In the very beginning, what happens, his parents as well as his siblings, I mean his brothers and sisters. They constantly supported him, they motivated him, and they tried to help him as much as possible. Right? Clear? And you know what they used to do for him? They would bring him food from the sea. They would catch fish, and they must bring one or two fish for the young seagull so that he would be able to survive there. But you know, this continued for a long period of time, and the entire family were also getting very much disappointed with the behavior that the young seagull was showing. With the passage of time, he showed no interest. He just simply enjoyed looking at his younger brothers and sisters flying in the sky with his parents and taking dives in the sky, okay, and having a lot of fun over there. But he never ever tried to, jump into the sky, and he could not even gather courage to, take this risk in life. And as you all know, that the one who do not take risk in life can never see success in his life also. This comes true in the case of this particular young seagull. Right? Because of the fear and the lack of courage, he could not succeed in life. And finally, a time comes when the entire family decided to leave him alone. My dear children, you will be surprised that what happens here, as you if you want to note it, then also you can do it, because I have tried to make the summary as short as possible for you. Right? Even if you have no time to revise the chapter, or if you find that words and the vocabulary of the text to be very difficult for you, simply it's my advice to you, do not forget to learn the summary that I am giving for you here in the video. You can take note of this, okay? And what happens there, children, finding no improvement in his attitude, finally his parents, they started mocking him. They even scolded him, and they finally abandoned him. What's the meaning of scolding, abandoning, and mocking? I hope you know it very well. Mocking means to make fun of someone, right? Means they used to tease him, right? They used to tease him. Scolded him. Scolded means, they used to speak harsh words for him, so that he would at least feel bad about it, and may take the risk, or may come out to fly with his siblings. They abandoned him also. What's the meaning of abandon? Abandon means to leave someone alone, right? To leave someone alone. Okay? Means if you leave someone alone, if you do not visit him, if you don't go to meet him, if you means completely isolate him, right? If you quarantine him. Now I can use a very beautiful word that you that got very much familiar in these days, okay, because of the pandemic corona, we have become very much familiar with the word quarantine. Okay, they quarantined him, means they left him alone. They did not visit him. Okay, but what's the impact of that abandonment? That is what we are going to discuss here. Right? So what happens, in the 24-hour past, and nobody from his family visited the young seagull. I think he was expecting at least his mothers to bring some food for him, just like other, means any other child. He expected his mother to be caring for him, okay, and the mother too did not visit him. That is the most important point in this particular chapter, that even his mother, okay, who was supposed to be very much caring, who was supposed to be very much loving, who was supposed to be very much associated, very much close to this particular young seagull, too did not visit him when he required her the most. Okay, right? And I think this was a very well developed strategy made by the entire family members. This was very much essential for him. Actually, they all wanted him to learn this lesson. They wanted him to teach a lesson. Okay, until and unless he understands the, what hunger is, until and unless he understands that what the life is, he would never take risk in life, or he would never learn to fly. This was really a very good intention and a gesture shown by the entire family members, right? They did not want to pamper the young seagull by feeding him every day, and that is why, they became very strict. They behaved rudely, and it might have hurted, it might have hurt the sentiment of the young seagull, but they didn't care about it, since they knew that if they failed to be strict, then I think the young seagull would never learn the value of hard work. He would never learn to fly in the sky, right? So now what's happening, when the parents and his siblings did not bring food for him, the young seagull had to stay for at least 24 hours without food. And it's for the first time, I suppose, he was going through a tough time of his life, because the text says that I think they never before that day they had been so strict. Okay, that they all were very much compassionate towards him. They were all very much, affectionate. They loved him very dearly, right? And they always wanted to, be very very kindly towards him. But during the last 24 hours, their behavior has completely changed, and nobody is trying to communicate him when they are coming from the sea and catching the fresh fish, and they are coming and just sitting on the opposite rock. Okay, and they used to take the fish, but they never offered it to the young seagull. This maddened him. This made him mad. Okay, this made him mad. He was going mad, right? He didn't know what to do. If he wants to survive, then he has to learn to fly. If he wants to live, then he must go and catch fish from the sea, right? Now let us see finally what decision was taken by the young seagull, right? As you can see here, my dear children, I have written here, having left with no other way to survive, he had no other way, he had no other opportunities left for him. All doors have been closed, right? All doors have been closed now, and the hunger getting heavy over his fear. Earlier what happened, this is what I have tried to written so that you understand, okay, the value of, hunger and the survival. So my dear children, in the beginning, in the very first paragraph there, I told you that what was the most, subjugating factor, which was the most dominating factor that was working in the life of the young seagull. Obviously that was fear, and it was the fear that pulled the seagulls back all the time, right? But today what's happening, when he was not given food for the next for the 24 hours, now his hunger was getting heavy over his fear, means hunger was increasing, and it was becoming more painful for him. It was taking a very devastative, kind of, form, and he was not in a condition to bear it. He was not in a condition to resist it. Now, if he wants to survive, then he has to collect his own food, and he must have to go out. And the young seagull finally stood on the ledge, closed his eyes, dived into the vast open sky, for survival. So here comes the ice breaking point, my dear children. Okay, here comes the most significant phase of his life, the most significant time of the young seagull. What he did, he finally closed his eyes and dived into the vast open sky for survival. Why did he dive? Earlier, he didn't want to fly. He thought that his wings are too weak and they may not support him when he starts to fly in the sky. He was afraid of his wings. He was afraid of the depth. He was afraid of, the vast blue oceans beneath the sky. Okay, but today, what's happening, There was the fear. The fear still existed. But now, what was exceeding the fear? There is another factor that was exceeding the fear, that was hunger. And he could not control it. He could not he could not get victory over hunger. Now that's why he had to take a big decision of his life. Now, if he fails to fly in the sky, then he would certainly die within 1 day or 2 days. He knows it, that his parents have changed their mindset, they have changed their attitude, and they are no longer supportive to him. They are no longer, caring and loving for him. So he understood it very well, and that's why he jumped into the sky and started flapping his wings. How beautiful that moment must be, right? You just imagine. Means there is something that you were afraid to do of, but suddenly, one day, at a point of time, you started doing it. How do you feel? You must be, feeling like in the seventh heaven, right? Clear. You must be feeling like as if you have achieved something very, very great. And obviously, one must feel so. And the same kind of feeling must have been realized by this young seagull on that particular day. Okay, seeing him taking the fly, his family came join him, made him feel special, cheered for his victory over fear, and celebrated the first ever fly of the young seagull. Now, so does that mean when you read this particular sentence right from here to here you get to know what was the intention of the family behind this particular strategy. Now, it was not a wrong decision taken by the parents. Rather, I would say it was a well thought and a well designed strategy which worked beautifully, okay, and which made their work easy. Earlier, they requested him, they motivated him, they tried to inspire him, but it did not work. Now, they put before him a real challenge of survival. Okay, right? And you all know that time teaches everything. Okay, there is a beautiful saying in English that time teaches everything. Time is the greatest teacher, time is the greatest master of everyone in the world, right? I can give an example here. I had a student, you know, who didn't want to, speak in Hindi when he was in, class fifth. I was his class teacher, right? You won't believe, right? But after his graduation, because he came from a typical family where English was given more importance. He considered Hindi to be a subordinate language, and he had never realized the importance of it. And just few years back, right, 2 years back, to be very precise, 2 years back, when the same child, got a job in a multinational company and had to leave his home state and move out to Delhi. There he found that it is Hindi that is very much essential for him to learn. Okay? And then I made him realize that, why did you learn it? Then he told that, sir, it was necessary in my business, in my profession, it was extremely required. So when you think that that is extremely required and you have no other option left with you, you have no other opportunities or the doors open for you to move out, in that condition, you surrender to that. Okay? And the same thing happened in this particular context also. In the beginning, he hesitated, or he was reluctant, or he behaved indifferently. He did not respond to the request. He did not care for others also. Okay, but finally, when he realized that if he wants to survive, then there is no other way except flying. Then he started to fly in the air. So in this way, my dear children, his family, they had a very beautiful strategy to teach him a lesson. Okay, and on that day, they all joined him in the fly. His parents, his brothers, his sisters, everybody, they came together. They started, you know, flying along with him, and they started teaching him diving and flying in the sky. Okay, and they all had a great day on that particular day. They all celebrated the moment. That was the greatest moment for the entire seagull family. They all loved the little young seagull, and they all became very, very proud on that particular day. Right? Now, dear children, with this we have come to the end of this story. Now, let us try to understand, if a question comes. Now I'm going to talk from the examination's point of view, right? So please take note of the following points and some of the sayings that I have given over here, right, in this particular video. This is going to be extremely helpful for you, right? When you try to attempt a long question, you should try to quote some of the sayings, some of the idioms and phrases that the popular things that you must learn it. Okay, these are some of the beautiful things. You should try to collect it, as you are all young learners, and after 2 years you will be going into the vast open field of life. There the life would pose many difficult challenges before you. There these things will work much better, and you will find this kind of stories, means stories like the young seagull, to be highly motivating for you. You won't be in requirement of any motivational speaker for you. The text that you have studied, the language book that you are going through, that is your greatest teacher, that is your greatest motivator. Okay, right? So now here I'm going to read some of the beautiful sayings that we have in English. Life is not a bed of roses. Life is not a bed of roses. No pain, no gain. Failure leads to success. Dear children, when you read these sayings, then you come to know that life is not all about happiness. Life is not all about sleeping. Life is not about the beautiful things that you have in your life. Okay? Life is more than that. Life has lot many things to teach you. It has lot many experiences to give you. Life is a combination of both happiness and sadness. It's a combination of both gain and pain. It's a mixture of both victory and your defeat. So, the life teaches you many things. That's why someone has said that life is not a bed of roses. You will not find the life very smooth all the time. There would be time. There will be time when you would be passing through the most difficult time of the life. Okay? And those who come victorious over it. They are the real heroes. They are the real heroes who get or who learn to overcome such hurdles in life. Life would definitely give. Never think that the rich people have no difficulties in their life. Their challenges, their difficulties are of different level. Okay, their difficulties are of different level. Their challenges that they face in their life is of different level. So nobody is extremely happy in the world, or no one is extremely poor in the world. We all have the equal potential, my dear children. And with our willpower, with the courage, and with the strong positive mindset, we can achieve almost anything and everything in our life. One more thing that that teaches me a lot, and I appreciate that saying. Okay, that is no pain, no gain. If you do not risk your life, then the life would never give you a better return. You must have gone through, or you must have seen the advertisement of mutual fund, right? Clear? Mutual fund, where I think Sachin Tendulkar comes and he says that it's all about market. At every sphere of life, you have challenges to face, you have risks to take, and those who take risk, they get better result. The more you take risk, the more happier your life become. The more you take challenges, the more perfect you become. So this is the principle of life. This is the very simple thing that one should understand from the very beginning. And as a young learner, as a young student, it is highly essential for you people to learn it, that you cannot get anything without hard work, right? You cannot gain anything without taking pain in your life. That's why no pain, no gain. One more thing, failure leads to success. Failure leads to success. This is very, very inspiring, my children. Most of the students nowadays, most of the people, the young businessmen, young entrepreneurs, everybody are afraid of failure. I do not know why are they afraid of failure. It's really very difficult to accept the truth. Okay, if we fail at some point of time, maybe we may be a failure in our business, we may be a failure as a student, we may be a failure as a son, we may be a failure as a brother. We might have failed. It does not mean that we are failure forever. Okay, a single failure does not represent your entire life. That is what you must understand. Clear? And those who understand this particular concept and try to derive positive out of it, they only meet the success. Failure leads to success. Okay, therefore there is a beautiful one more saying in English is that failure is the pillar that leads to success. Failure is the pillar of success. Failure is the pillar of success. Okay, right? When somebody had told, I think there is a very famous scientist, okay, who told that while making an electric bulb, I think I forget the name of that particular scientist, right? He he failed, I think, 1400 or 1500 times while doing the experimentations, right? So when his professors and his friends, they asked him that you have failed this many times, still do you have faith in you that you would be able to discover something? And he told that I have not failed, rather I have learned that for 1400 ways did not work. Maybe the 1401, the next step might work, right? So the failure also has some lesson to teach us. It teaches us many good things, but how we take it, That matters the most in our life, dear children. Okay, so in this particular context of the young seagull, right, he was afraid of failure. He had no faith on his potential. He thought that my wings are poorly developed. I may not fly like my brothers and sisters. Whereas that was not the truth. He was much more sturdy and well built muscles, and he was well grown up. Even his younger brothers and sisters who were having poor and very poorly developed muscles and wings, they could fly better. So definitely it was not even a question that arises over here that he could not have flied, right? And finally, what happens, when he realized that yes, I have the potential, and for my survival I have to risk my life. For my survival I have to take pain in my life, right? And for he understood that life is not a bed of roses. Then the very next moment he got the success. So life poses many challenges before us. Only a few who dare to take on the challenge meet the success. We are all born with equal potential, and nothing is impossible for us. Overcoming the fear in mind is the beginning of your victory. The moment you overcome, the moment you say that, yes, I can do it, yes, I'll do it, is the moment you got the victory. Nothing more. It's our brain which makes you a loser or a winner, right? It is your brain which decides that whether you are a failure or a winner, not anybody else, not even your rivals, not even the competitors who are competing in the market with you, not even the students who are scoring good numbers or better number than you. They are not your challenge. Rather, you are combating, you are fighting, you are trying to get victory over your mindset, you are trying to get victory over your own prejudiced mind. Parents must not be considered as the source of survival. This is what is very important in today's generation. When we talk about unemployment in our country, there we find that many young parents, many young students who are of the age of 24, 25, 26, 27, 20, up to 30, they're found, spending and taking pocket money from their parents. They don't want to risk their life. They don't want to take some challenges in their life. And that's why they have become a dependent of their family. Whereas the very bitter truth is that our parents should simply be a motivation for us. They simply be a motivation. They should not be a source of our income. They should not be a source of our happiness. They should not be a source of our everything. We should make our own source. We must make ourselves as our own source of everything. And looking up to our parents, we must move forward. So, my dear children, I hope I have been able to help you with this particular chapter in understanding it in depth, and so that you may attempt the questions easily and score good numbers in your examinations. So, dear students, it's my sincere request to you to kindly take note of the summary that I have given over here, and do learn it by heart. If possible, do learn it by heart. Okay, and also go through the text for better comprehension of it. Make use of the new words that are given in the book. It's very much difficult for us to teach you line by line over internet, since it's a very hectic job, and you also would be not in a position to listen to a long lecture where I would be teaching you line by line. So with this, we have come to the end of today's class. In the next class, I would teach you about the black aeroplane. With that, thank you and have a good day.